I am going to go ahead and at this point, I'm going to call the meeting to order out of respect for everybody's time. John is our quorum determiner keeper. And so we'll go ahead and do the roll call now, and that will help us to determine quorum, okay? And then I have some things that I'd like to start our meeting off before we get into the rest of the meeting. John, do you want to go ahead and do the roll call, please?
Yes, ma'am. All righty. Ms. Joanna Anaya. Dale Armstrong. Madam Chair, I have you. Johannes. Bryn Davis, I have you. Dale Decker.
Here.
Bob Grassberger. I think he said
Here.
Oh, Bob is here. Deborah Heckes.
Here.
Yay.
Philip Ingram. Deborah Moore. She was on the phone, correct?
Mm-hmm. She's in.
John Rockwell. Carlos Romero.
Just got here. Good morning.
Carlos, got you. Ben Woods.
Here.
Vince Alvarado. Deputy Secretary John Clark.
Yes, good morning. I'm here.
Bobby Ehrig.
Here, sir.
Carla Kugler. I'm sorry.
Okay, I've been called worse. Here.
Renee Loudon. Was she on the phone?
Here?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, here.
Representative Maestas. Secretary McCainley.
I'm here for him, I think.
Deputy Secretary Medrano said he's going to be late. Richard Mayer. Senator Padilla. Daniel Schlegel.
Present.
Mayor Snover. Councilman Sorg.
Here.
Ezra Spitz. Director Trapp.
Here.
Deputy Secretary Warnerman. And Veronica just got an email from Johannes. He needs his link.
Okay. I'll send it.
See him.
It looks like Bill
And he's
is
on, but he's
I
on.
see him.
So I'm going to
Yeah.
resend bills to him as well.
So
Okay.
Johannes, are you present?
Yes, he is.
Yes, present.
Okay, so I just need to do Bill, correct then?
Yes.
Okay.
Madam Chair, we do have quorum.
Well, that is a glorious and wonderful thing. All right. Good morning. Thanks all of you. Thanks all of you for being here. Thank you for your patience with our transition in technology. There are our friends that are going to help us stay connected through this time are going to have some more information for us at the end of the meeting. I first wanted to start off by welcoming our brand new board member. Mathis Shinnick is from the Albuquerque area. And he is joining us as a member of the business community. Mathis, do you want to say just a little bit about what you do when you're not hanging out with us on the State Workforce Board?
Well, a lot of it is related to what I anticipate we'll be doing on the board. I am currently top executive for a startup company here in Albuquerque called Optipulse. It has been quite a journey. As some of you already know from having heard me talk about it before, it's a unique company, and it's born out of what has been the entrepreneurial world within New Mexico. There's a lot of you on the call today that I say thank you for what you've done to date in terms of encouraging all that. Just a bit of history. I started off here when I was 8 months old. My dad came to Sandia to work out of MIT, and I went all the way through Del Norte Knights, yay, University of New Mexico, Anderson School, and then went off into the world, kept trying to come back. Individuals like Dale Decker, Lisa Kutala, and others were instrumental in convincing me that there was some real activity going on here. So it was easy to convince me, and I'm glad to be back, and I'm looking forward to contributing from the private sector side what I can to our efforts through this board. Thank you.
Well, thank you, sir. We are happy to have you. Mathis apparently had his exciting run-in with our fun COVID virus, and you join a fellow board member, DJ Heckus, who also has battled that. And thanks to you guys for being here. I'm so happy that you're doing okay. I know everybody is affected by this in different ways. We've got my kids up in South Dakota both have it right now. So, my thoughts and prayers are with all of you and with your families as we continue to weather this storm. But vaccine news is good news these days. So we're just going to believe that we're going to press on through this. I wanted to remind the board of the way we operate in our wonderful virtual environment. So when you go to make a comment, do please state your name first. When we don't want to use the chat feature, so please refrain from using that. We are going to have to take the slow go process of approving each motion with a roll call vote. And we will have to do that, and it's just procedural, and I'm sorry. And I'm all about, can we just get to the work? But for a public meeting, we need to do it correctly. The other thing is, if anything happens with the feed, if anything is where the meeting is disrupted, we will stop until we get that resumed. So I just want to make sure that you guys know that. So thank you for your patience. I also wanted to say before we get started, our dear good friend, Mr. Bob Grassberger, is going to be departing our board after this month. And I'm not letting him slide off into the ether. He's been really very, very helpful. Bob, how long have you been a member of the State Workforce Board? Because you came before I did.
Not quite as long as Dale Decker and Bryn. Those guys were there before me, but it's been 10 years. It's been almost a decade now.
That's awesome. Well, I want to thank you for your contributions. As you know, he has been our vice chair of the board, is still our vice chair of the board, and has really been an incredible thought partner for me as I took on the chairmanship. And he had more history with it than I did. So, Bob, I just want to publicly thank you for your commitment to the work. You care, and you continue to drive us forward. So, thank you for that. The executive committee has nominated Carlos Romero to step into the role of vice chair, and we will vote on that at our next meeting. So I just wanted to kind of make you aware of that. And so, John, if you wouldn't mind putting up just the agenda really quickly on the screen. So I'll get started by asking for a motion to approve the agenda.
I will make that motion to approve the agenda. This is
Thank
Bill
you, Counselor. Thank you, Counselor. Is there a second?
Second.
I will second. This is Dan Schlegel.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Any discussion or changes to the agenda? All right, then to approve the agenda, all in favor say aye by roll call vote. John, go.
Joanna
John?
Anaya.
Oh, there you go. Okay, gotcha. Well, no, you don't have to. I think you don't need to call the names that aren't here. I think
Okay.
you should just call the people that are here.
Madam Chair,
Yes, aye.
Johannes,
Aye.
Bryn,
Yes. Aye.
Dale Decker,
Yes.
Bob Grassberger,
Yes.
Deborah Heckus,
Aye.
Deborah Moore,
Come back to her in a sec.
I will. Carlos Romero,
Aye.
Nancy Sauer,
Nan, are you on mute?
Nancy Sauer. I'll come back. Mathis Cynic,
Aye.
Ben Woods,
Aye.
Director Chisholm,
Aye.
Bobby Erig, Carla Kugler,
Aye.
Renee Loudon,
Aye.
Secretary McCamley,
I'll say aye for him since
Thank
I'm his proxy.
thanks, Sue. Daniel Slagle,
Aye.
Councilman Sorg,
Yes.
Director Trapp,
Yes.
and come back to
Okay, Nan,
Nancy
are
Sauer.
you I see you, Nan. Are you able to? I see her. Put a thumbs up. Oh, there you go. We got you.
Aye. I didn't put it in the chat, but aye.
Yeah, good job. Okay, and then Debbie, I think we lost Debbie's phone. She says she can hear us, but I think she's an I, so she said I. So
Okay.
sorry about that, but we should be, okay, so that's the vote.
We got unanimous approval.
Do what?
We have unanimous approval.
Okay, perfect. All right, going to the minutes, and we have two board meeting minutes because we didn't have quorum last time. So, so if you have, if someone would like to move to approve the minutes of both the August 13th meeting and the October 8th meeting.
Madam Chair, this is Greg Trapp. I move to approve.
Thank you,
I'll
Greg.
second.
Who was the second?
Bill McCamley.
Thanks. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Any discussion, anything you wanted to change about the minutes?
Madam Chair, this is Greg Trapp. To clarify the motion, I'm moving to approve the minutes of the special meeting of August 13 and the minutes of the committee of the whole for October 8.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I appreciate that. All right. Any discussion or suggested changes? All right. Well, then, may I call for a vote by roll call vote to approve the minutes of the two meetings, the special one on the 13th and then the regular meeting on October 8th.
Madam Chair,
Yes, aye.
Johannes Camino,
Aye.
Bryn Davis,
Aye.
Dale Decker,
Aye.
Bob Grassberger,
Aye.
Deborah Heckus,
Aye.
Deborah Moore, Carlos Romero,
Aye.
Nancy Sauer,
Aye.
Mathis Cynic,
Aye.
Ben Woods,
Aye.
Director Chisholm,
Aye.
Bobby Erig,
Aye.
Carla Kugler,
Right. Aye.
Renee Loudon,
Aye.
Secretary McCamley,
Aye.
Daniel Slagle,
Aye.
Councilman Sorg,
Yes.
Director Trapp.
Aye.
Unanimous approval, Madam Chair.
Thank you, sir. So Debbie thinks she's muted, but she's on. So I'm just letting you know. and she did vote aye, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Okay. Item number 4, we approve our Open Meetings Act annually. And so at our December meeting, we reaffirm that we are going to conduct our meeting according to the open meetings resolution that we had approved previously, but we made the significant change this year at the sort of at the request of Director Trapp about really just going ahead and putting into that the special meeting, the special circumstances that is the highlighted section. If you, John, if you want to pull that, if you have that document and can pull it up. And we just added it toward the end of our open meetings resolution, and it's in yellow on the document. But basically, this is simply the protocols for meetings held during times of state emergencies. There's nothing significantly changed about this other than just a formal adoption of this, because as we have sadly found out, COVID was not a short-term deal, and we're probably going to be meeting this way for a while. Thank you, John, for getting that put up. So let me first ask for someone to move to approve the Open Meetings Act addendum proposal and addendum.
This is Bryn Davis. I make the motion to approve the Open Meetings Act and addendum as posted.
Thank you, Brent.
I second that motion.
Johannes?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, any discussion?
Madam Chair, this is Greg Trapp. I do want to recommend one very small change under the section 11, and I apologize, I should have caught this myself, but I have one or more essential or time-sensitive items of business. I would suggest that we strike essential or time-sensitive items of business. That was the language of the original Attorney General guidance, but since this pandemic has meant that we've had to meet this way so much longer, we're having to address regular and routine items of business. So we should take out essential or time-sensitive.
Okay, that's a good recommendation. Any other discussion?
Madam Chair, one other reminder is that we are supposed to be recording and posting the meetings, another of the recommendations. So this meeting should be recorded and posted within 5 days under this language to the webpage of the Workforce Solutions Department.
And I believe that's happening. So
Based on mine, it says it's being recorded. So I'll check, Greg, and let you know.
we're good. Yeah, we're
Okay,
good.
just want to make sure we all know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, we're good. All right. Any other discussion? All right, then may I please have a motion? Oh, wait. I'm being asked to do, huh?
I believe you had a motion and a second.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Madam
I'm multitasking. Do we
Madam
need,
Chair, I believe I have to amend and make
Yes.
my motion to pass it as amended by Mr. Trapp's additions.
Okay, thank you. And Johannes, are you willing to second?
Yes,
amended motion?
Yeah, I do second that amended motion.
Perfect. All right. So then by roll call vote, would all those in favor of approving the Open Meetings Act resolution with the edit for 2020-21, all in favor say aye by roll call vote.
Go ahead and call roll, John. You're muted.
Madam Chair.
Aye.
Johannes.
Aye.
Bryn Davis.
Aye.
Dale Decker.
Aye.
Bob Grassberger.
Yes.
Deborah Heckus.
Aye.
Deborah Moore. Carlos Romero.
Aye.
Nancy Sauer.
Aye.
Matthew Sinek.
Aye.
Ben Woods.
Aye.
Director Chisholm.
Aye.
Bobby Erig. Carla Kugler.
Aye.
Renee Loudon.
Aye.
Secretary McCamley.
Aye.
Daniel Slagle.
Aye.
Councilman Sorg.
Aye.
Director Trapp,
Aye.
Madam Chair, we have unanimous approval.
I like this board. We all get along and agree. That's wonderful. Okay, so now the main focus of our meeting today is this next conversation that we're going to have, and I'm going to turn the floor over to Dan Schlegel to discuss this. I do want to say that, you know, I'm very grateful to each of our 4 boards that took the time to meet with us last meeting and answer questions, you know, that we had after reviewing the plans. You know, and I thank you guys for the work you've done on your annual reports as well. We've been looking through those as well as a board. There is a letter that we will be sending to the governor with the, you know, pending approval of this board. Dan, I'm going to let you talk through our committee's recommendation, your committee's recommendation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So yes, we're going to be sending a letter to the governor. It's really laying out what our recommendation is out of the restructuring subcommittee. And we are saying that we would like to continue the current local area designations, but also continue the work of that subcommittee really outlined in those bullet points below. So I'd really ask you to take a look at those. And we've set ourselves a deadline of April 30th to come up with any proposed changes, if any, to the governor for recommendations for the local area designations. I will open it up for any other comments from the subcommittee or discussion from the group.
Or questions from the board. John, I am so sorry. It would be easier if we could have that a little bit bigger. And I don't know if it'll work with you showing the 2 pages. That's a little better. So Dan, I just want to make sure that we capture the bullet points. Do you mind speaking to them just real quickly before we turn to questions and discussion?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. So we're really looking at, we've really developed some focused areas from this subcommittee. And you'll notice the first bullet point is really about connecting with the chief elected officials, which is ongoing and very important to the process if we are going to look at any changes to the local area designations for when we go to the Department of Labor and under the WIOA recommendations. Next is coordination with key stakeholders and partners, including economic development, K-12, post-secondary education, et cetera. Really looking at reducing redundancy and duplication of administrative processes and procedures to support more investment in end users of the system. And John, if you could scroll up. Next, we have reviewing the recommendations from the articulated in the LFC Spotlight report, entitled Workforce Development Post-COVID-19 Pandemic. That was from August, and they had some poignant discussions in LFC around our work for local area destinations and the workforce development system in the state. Lastly, just a point, setting a target on the calendar for April 30th for this subcommittee and the larger board to make recommendations for any changes to the local area designations by April 30th that we will get to the governor for approval. Madam Chair, that is all I have on the continued work of this subcommittee.
Thank you, Dan. Yes, and do state your name when you have conversation or questions. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is Bill McCamley. I would
Hello, Mr.
first
Secretary.
like to say that, ma'am, I would first like to say that when the time is right, I would be happy to move approval of this topic if no one has any changes. I would also like to thank both Daniel and all the people that are working on this committee. The workforce board structure is probably going to be one of the most important aspects to us as a state recovering from this situation we find ourselves in now. There is a small light at the end of the tunnel that we're seeing with the vaccines coming out, but as we've all known, the numbers that have come out from the workforce board structure have not shown in the past that they are as efficient or as effective as they can be, both working with our employers and making sure as many as employees and workers in our state have an opportunity to get jobs as they can. And so I just want to thank the members very, very much, and want to be very clear that it is the intention of the Workforce Solutions Department to work with y'all and work with our employers and work with our CEOs to find a better way, if possible, of doing this. These boards are going to be absolutely critical in terms of making sure that people have a chance to go back and get jobs using the resources that WIOA provides. And frankly, other states seem to have a situation where they're better at this. And we need to find a way to constantly try to improve what we're doing. And that is the intention of the department. And we look forward once again to seeing what y'all come up with. But we are fully behind these efforts, and we are fully behind possibly proposing to the governor that we try something different moving forward based on your work. So, Madam Chair, I'd be willing to answer any questions on that as well. But I appreciate what Mr. Schlegel, all the work that he's done, as well as all of you all that were reviewing all the local area designations from the different workforce boards came to us with, and your ideas moving forward. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Secretary. I appreciate that. Comments or questions from the board?
Madam Chair, if there are none, I would move approval of the letter.
I appreciate your approval of that. I heard something on the line. I wasn't sure if someone was trying to say something, but okay, if there's, if we have a motion to approve this letter, do I have a second?
I second.
This is Nan Sauer. I second.
Thank you. Mathis and Nan close. I'm sorry, Nan, we're going to give it to Mathis this time. He got the second.
Thank you,
Hang in
Chair.
there. Hang in there. All right. Well, then we have had no further discussion. And so I would like to do a roll call vote again. Isn't this wonderful? A roll call vote for approval of the letter to go to the governor and the work that is ongoing with our transformation committee. So John, I turn it over to you for roll call.
Madam Chair,
Aye.
Johannes Camino,
Oh, I'm sorry, I was muted. Aye.
Brent Davis,
Aye.
Dale Decker,
Aye.
Bob Grassberger,
Yes.
Deborah Moore, Carlos Romero, Carlos Romero,
No, he was still on. He is still on.
I see his lips moving.
Sorry, double muted. I was double muted. Aye.
Nancy Sauer,
Aye.
Mathis Cynic,
Aye.
Ben Woods,
Aye.
Director Chisholm,
Aye.
Bobby Erig,
Aye.
Carla Cougar,
Aye.
Renee Loudon,
Aye.
Secretary McCamley,
Very strongly aye.
Daniel Slagle,
Aye.
Councilman Sorg,
Pleased to say aye.
Director Trapp.
Aye.
Madam Chair, we have unanimous approval.
Well, that is excellent news. Thanks to all of you for that. And I do thank Daniel for taking the lead on this really important work, and all the members of the committee who have been doing research and taking the time to really look into this. So it's exciting to think that we are at the forefront, frankly, of New Mexico's economic recovery. Definitely the workforce system has an incredible role to play. I believe the most recent numbers I saw, we have 118,000 New Mexicans unemployed at this time. Does that sound about right, Mr. Secretary?
Madam Chair, I believe that is correct as of actually yesterday. So that's the amount we're paying right now through the unemployment system.
And I mean, this has been such a challenging season, both for the individuals who've been displaced by COVID, and I'm just so mindful. So many of them have never been unemployed before. So many of them, have lost opportunities. Not because they did anything wrong, and how can we come alongside them and support them through this time? And I really want to congratulate the department who stepped up in every conceivable way. There was an annual report that was produced for each of the 4 boards, but there was also an annual report that was produced for the department, and I encourage you to read it. the Herculean effort that Secretary McCainley and Deputy Secretary Yolanda Montoya Cordova and their team has undertaken to this unprecedented event is admirable. And, you know, as we are, you know, having our last meeting of the year, I just really don't want to lose sight of the Herculean effort that they put forward to do this right. And I am, as Secretary McCainley has previously stated, I'm grateful to previous Secretary Selena Bussey, who put the IT infrastructure in during her tenure that allowed us to be way ahead of where so many other states were when they had to adapt to this insane event. So my thanks to all of you. I had checked with John before the meeting. We do not have any public comment.
Madam Chair.
And so, oh yes,
I'm
sir.
sorry to interrupt. I just received communication on the designation letter. We need to make a minor change. The last name of the Central Board Director was misspelled. We'll have to correct that before submitted.
Oh, well, okay then. Do we need to reapprove the letter, or we just need to note that there will be an edit?
Madam Chair, as the person who made the motion, I'm fine with just, it's too late to amend the motion, but we'll make sure we get the spelling.
Yes, we'll just
put it in the notes.
Yeah.
Put in the notes. Okay, well, thank you for that. Thank you, Central Board, for letting us know that. Okay, so we have no public comment, but as it relates to other business announcements and board closing comments, I wanted to say one thing before I turn it over to John and Veronica. So we have a number of you who are new members on the board. You know, some of you have come on, you know, obviously just right now, Mathis, and over this past year. And I really wanted to see if I could set up a time and, you know, with you guys to kind of give you a lay of the land of the State Workforce Board. Understanding this system is very complex, but I think I can provide a lay language navigation for you through it. And I'd like to I'm just going to say, and, you know, I'll follow up with you later. And if you've been on the board a while and you want to do it again, great. But I want to provide an opportunity for us to just talk about the system so that you feel very confident in the decisions you'll be making as board members, especially during this really critical time. And I do want to give Bob Grassberger cred for that recommendation. So, you know, he may be gone or going, he's going, but his impact will remain. So again, so thank you to Bob. All right, John and Veronica, you're going to explain to us something about our new way of doing business on this virtual environment.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, everyone. I understand, and I want to apologize up front for maybe some of the confusion we've had as we transition from the traditional Zoom conversation to the webinar-based platform we have right now. As you may have received an email from Veronica regarding a link to your access today, which allows you video and audio access. I would like to pass on real quick to Veronica exactly how this link can be utilized in future meetings as this for the recurring meetings that we have going into next year. Veronica?
Good morning, everybody. So the links and the call-in information received for this meeting will actually be the link and call-in information you use for every state board meeting from here on out, if it's going to be conducted via Zoom. So we will not be sending out new links, new call-in information every meeting. This will be the information you use to log in every single meeting. So what I will do on my end to make the process just a little bit easier, I will send before the next meeting one more email to you individually with information. From here on out, you'll need to save that information to use for every meeting, because it'll only be sent out to you one more time to avoid any confusion for future meetings. So decided to go this route to make it a little bit easier on everybody and a learning experience on my end. So I hope will help everybody for the future. If you do have any questions regarding your link or the call-in information, just shoot me an email and I can definitely walk you through the process. Or if you have any questions now, please let me know.
So real quick, if anyone does need it, if you have a collapse in your computer, your laptop, let us know. We would be more than happy to reshare that information to you for your link, okay? And if there's anything else on this, if there's any other questions, you can ask now. You can either email myself or Veronica, and we'll get an answer for you. Madam Chair, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Do any of the other members of the board have comments they'd like to make at this time?
Madam Chair, just one observation is we've got these invites and all, but I do notice that we should try, even if it doesn't have the invite, to make sure we lock down a calendar invite with schedules, because I personally notice things coming and going on my calendar, and it's dangerous not to seal the deal for that timing in the long term.
That's an excellent suggestion, Bryn. I mean, we are meeting every other month, the first, and we got off because of COVID at the beginning, but we're not going to be off the first Thursday of the month. So, I guess, Veronica, as you structure that ongoing thing, if we could somehow set that into the calendar announcement so it gets placed, you know, for the long term on our calendars, that would be ideal.
So, Madam
Chair, I would agree with Bryn. I would definitely like that.
Thank you, Counselor.
So, Madam Chair, Veronica and I will work together. I will send out a calendar invite for the entire year. And that's what we did initially last year. But as you said, COVID kind of interrupted that process. So we had to retract some of those invites. But we will, moving forward, we will send out the invite for the entire year. You will have that. In addition to that, you'll all have your links. So you will not see a Zoom link on those invites because you will have your links already involved for that meeting.
And I will just add for those technology people or whatever, is once you get that invite, you can drag the Zoom invite, just drop it onto it. So when you open it up, it's an email in there.
Thank you, Bryn. That's what I was going to say is you could attach your Zoom link information to your individual calendar invite, since everybody does have a separate link and phone information to call in. So you could always save it on that way to make it easier, you know, to see the information.
And this is Yolanda. I just want to remind the board too, so given the schedule that we're on, with the next meeting not being until February, I assume, John, right? Because our calendar starts February. We have two meetings before, because before we have to submit our recommendations to the governor. So because the next meeting will fall, the meeting will fall in February the 4th, and then it will fall on April the 8th is what it looks like. So we're going to have to work pretty much at a pretty fast pace, but we'll use that April 8th meeting to be really sleeves up, sort of looking really hard and long at those recommendations, and would recommend that we really also sort of, you know, we're probably going to have to really spend some time. It's not going to be like an hour meeting. It may be longer on that April meeting, and we'll do everything that we can, I think, to just have this as the topic, because it's such a heady topic and it's everything that we need to go. So we'll approve minutes, we'll approve everything that we need to do, but that April 8th meeting is going to be critical. I've already, I'm on the back end with Daniel. We're already talking about setting a schedule for the committee, which may have to meet more regularly so that we can really roll up our sleeves and get some work done. The February meeting, we will need to come with, you know, sort of some like we're going to have to start scaffolding some pieces that we're going to do. So Daniel and I will work on setting up a real tight schedule on how we're going to come up with all that information and what are all the documents that we're going to need to do that. But I just wanted to put that out there. Makes me nervous, but but I tend to be that person that's anxious about this kind of stuff anyway. So but I think we could get it all done.
Well, I thank you. I know it's going to be a lot of work, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to do it, especially now. You know, I'd like to conduct that board training, and perhaps, John, you could help me send out a note to the board, whoever wanted to be a part of the board training, and help us pick a day that we could, you know, just have a conversation, because I think that's going to be really critical for all the board members to be up to speed before that conversation. I also, you know, would like to give our business engagement committee an opportunity to talk about the work that it's doing. I'd like to give an opportunity to talk about the evaluation piece, Yolanda, that you and Carlos are doing. I'd like to talk about anything else that has come up. You know, one of the conversations that we're really having is how do we think about going after other money, you know, grants and stuff, because of what's gone on, there's actually a lot of money flowing out there in the federal world. And how can we put the department in a position to go after some of that money with grants, and there's some capacity issues, for us, and how do we, structure to do that. So there's some good conversations I think that we're having to put New Mexico's workforce system in the place it needs to be to help the state recover economically. So thank you to that. Any other board comments?
I have a comment, Madam Chair.
Oh, yes, Daniel, go ahead.
Just real quickly, this isn't really pertinent to this board necessarily, but economic recovery. In the special session that we just had, the legislature just allocated $100 million for small business grants, and the NMFA is working really hard to get that up and running. There is a webinar today at 12:30 that they are hosting, and the applications should go live on December 7th. So just anything you can do in your networks to get that word out would be wonderful.
Is that something, Dan, that you could share with John, that John could share with the board?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you for that. That would be helpful. Any other board comments?
Yeah, may I? This is
yes, Counselor.
There's been talk in Washington that there may be a bill passing soon to help with the COVID-19. I was wondering if Secretary McCamley has any additional information or any inside information how that might help New Mexico.
Madam Chair, may I?
Yes, please.
Madam Chair, Counselor, so all the information we have right now is that they're still at a standstill. Every time we are speaking with anybody, I spoke with a bunch of congressional staffers on Monday. We had our National Governors Association meeting yesterday. No one knows anything about what's going on. You still have some people that are digging in their heels pretty strongly regarding overall spending levels. The Republicans don't like money going to the states. The Democrats don't like Republicans wanting to put protections in for lawsuits for COVID-related stuff. We have not seen a breakthrough yet. We know that there was that bipartisan proposal from a bunch of middle-of-the-road senators, but we have not seen any kind of progress yet. It was nice seeing that proposal, Gil, I'll be honest with you, because that's the first time we've seen anybody try something relatively different, but I'll believe it when I see it. And frankly, we're worried because we got 30,000 or so people on pandemic unemployment assistance that are just going to be completely losing their benefits at the end of the year no matter what. We have another 35,000 folks that are on pandemic unemployment extensions that's going to run out towards the end at the end of the month. Yeah, so it's scary.
Are you saying the unemployment payments will stop completely?
For the PUA people, they will. These are the self-employed folks. For the pandemic unemployment assistance, all the self-employed people, yes, those now they only have 39 weeks as well. So either when your weeks run out or the end of the year, whichever comes first, we are not currently able to offer any extension for any of those 30,000 or so folks that are in the pandemic unemployment assistance program, unless Congress steps in and does some kind of extension.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Madam Chair, this is Greg Trapp. If I could also chime into what Secretary McCamley said, for vocational rehabilitation, the legislation does include waivers, which would free us of the requirement to spend 15% of our VR grant, which is about $4 million for the state as a whole, on what are called pre-employment transition services, which are services to students 14 to 21. Because of the school closures across the country, we're just not able to spend that money, and we would be able to spend it on regular vocational rehabilitation services. So I'm really hoping that would go through. There are also proposals to waive the maintenance of effort requirement and a couple of other items.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
And Madam Chair, I just would like to share a brief update with the board in terms of what's going on with the grant funds that we did receive on the dislocated worker grant. So New Mexico applied and received not a very large award. We got $3 million. And what we ended up doing with that is we're in partnership with the New Mexico Environment Department, and we stood up some positions with them. They were transitional jobs to help and assist businesses when there was COVID in the workplace. It's resulted in about 28 jobs, and these were individuals that we needed to assist our state because the Environment Department couldn't stand it up on their own or without some assistance. And what they're doing essentially is when there is a positive in the workplace, they work with that business to help them stay in business and to keep moving and to keep to put in some health and safety measures so that they don't have to entirely shut down. I think you've heard of some businesses that close, but they close for a period of time. But the majority of the work is really to help them stay operational. We're really excited about this particular partnership because it's kind of like on two sides. It's helping businesses to stay in business and avoid layoff and massive, unemployment there. But it's also put people to work that were on our unemployment rolls that needed a job. And so they got these transitional jobs to be part of that. The other part of the money is also awarded to the Central Board, who is doing some training assistance there. They've got some targeted activities that they have planned. One of them kind of is stalled a little bit, but we're hoping that they can get it going. And it was in relationship with the Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, with inmates that were released as a result of COVID and long-term unemployed. So how do we help them to get them into employment because they didn't qualify for benefits like unemployment or any kind of sustenance. So we're working with the Central Board to do that. Plus they're also working and identifying some individuals or dislocated workers that can be put into some short-term boot camp programs with CNM. So we're really excited about getting those underway. So it's just a small project. I will say the project with the Environment Department is really interesting. We've had some calls. It's always good for New Mexico to get some good news or to get sort of a feather in our cap. The project has been highlighted at the federal level in terms of how we pivoted and what we were doing. And we've actually, John and I have had the opportunity of talking with other states who wanted to hear about how we did this and how it's working. So New Mexico's being recognized for its work with that project.
Well, that's always nice for New Mexico to get recognized in ways we like. So thank you for that. Any other board comments?
Madam Chair, this is Nan Sauer. I have a quick comment.
Yes, ma'am.
It seems like over the next 2 to 5 or 6 months, there'll be a lot going on. And I was wondering if it might be possible to get maybe every other week, every third week, just a high-level summary in a bulletized form of the things that are happening and the actions that we are moving out on, the things that we see coming in the future. I think it would just, in this very, I'll say, mobile time, it would really help to maybe have something to go back and refresh memories and things like that.
That's an excellent suggestion, Nan. I'd like that, and I will work with Yolanda and John on getting that communication out. So yeah, happy to help with that. That's really good. And I do think that there's so much that changes so fast. I get Google alerts. I don't know if you've ever done this where you set up Google News alerts and you have like New Mexico and another word. And I have that. And it is shocking how much information I learned from Google alerts that I've learned nowhere else. So, so your point is well made. If I didn't have Google alerts, I wouldn't pretty much know anything. So thank you for that. Any other comments from the board? Well, I just wanted to say, hey, thank you guys. It's been a difficult year. You've stayed with us. I'm very grateful to you. We're continuing to press on. We understand that, COVID is it's done a lot of devastation, but at the same time, it's given us an opportunity to do some things that have needed to get done anyway. I think that, I continue to reflect on, even when the schools were adapting to a digital remote world, they've provided hardware in some cases and access in some cases for families to access, the internet. And, an unintended consequence of that is that, I'm wondering how many families were able to access online services for the department, for their unemployment insurance, to learn about job interviews, to interview virtually, because so much of that is happening. So there is a lot of things that COVID brought that, that there was a little bit of opportunity there. And I'm just really grateful for the way that the state, and especially at the agency level, have been working together really, really closely because of the urgency of COVID. We can recover faster. New Mexico is interestingly poised to recover faster than many states, just based upon the size of our population. And I think that's why the restructure/transformation work is so critical for New Mexico at this time. We really want to be able to be at the forefront of reskilling, upskilling, ensuring that our next generation of young people have the career skills to be successful here or wherever. But, I'd like to invite our youth to be a part of, of rebuilding New Mexico's next chapter. And I think we can do that. So anyway, my thanks to you. Best wishes for your holiday season. Please stay safe and well. And if there's ever anything, that I can do or information I can be a conduit for you, I'm happy to help with that. Reach out to me anytime. All right. So at this point, I would say we are adjourned.